All right, everyone, here we are with Wkhs Workhorse Group Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So Wkhs stock has actually been in a bearish run. I mean, it hit these highs up here at $30.31 or $30.30, right? Give or take $30.30 to 31 cents. But from that point forward, it has dropped. I mean, we have seen this break through newer lows. So every time I've stated the lowest point here was close to the 24.47, 24.50 range. Then we also had this one at 25.25. And now we've seen a newer low. So I've stated that if it breaks through these points, we would see newer lows. Right now, we're currently below the 25.25 range. And it's a really close one. I mean, it's sitting there at 25.30 to 25.21 for this 30-minute time frame, and we need to look at this closely because it's a very close one. It could either be above it or slightly below it, but right now currently we're hanging out in this area, and the lowest point here was 24.50. That got broken through, but we haven't completely broken through it. So 24.50 is now our new support level to keep in mind. And then we have a new one that just formed down here at 23.63. I'd write that down. Super important numbers right now in the near term to watch this closely. And I mean, this has been fighting. You know, there's been some volatility up here, but it had a big bullish run since the end of October and the beginning of November. This lasted for a month almost. And now towards the end of the month, we're slightly dipping. So we need to watch this, like I said, closely, how it's reacting and where is it heading. So let's go ahead and see our 50-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is 27.04. You can write that down and keep that number in mind as this continues to play out. So let's look here at our support and let's go ahead and look at our resistance. These points of reference have slightly changed and they're going to be important based off the last couple hours of the day for tomorrow. Again, I want every single investor, before this started to fall below the 50-day moving average, to keep this number in mind, which is 28.06. That's the first resistance level in bullish territory. I want every single investor to go ahead and keep that in mind. We do have this point down here, this point down here, and so forth, but these were on that downward trend. This is probably one of the most important ones right now, up at that $28 mark. And our 50-day moving average is down here at 27.04. So let's look at the highest point before this fell and the lowest point as it's been falling and the lowest point before this happened. So the lowest point of the day, like I said earlier, was 23.63. You want to write that down, and you want to write down this point of reference down here at 24.50. So you want to break these support levels down so that you could see who is dominating as we get deeper into them, or do we get out of them and the bulls reappear and build momentum. So you want to have these written down. So what is our nearest support level right now? Well, it's certainly right now at that 25.21 to 25.30 range for this 30-minute time frame. It'll pop up and populate after the 30 minutes go by, but right now our support is 25.05. 25.05, if that gets broken through, this will be on its way down to newer lows. We're already in bearish territory, so I want to emphasize to all investors, pay very close attention to how the stock behaves and how quickly is it moving downwards if support is broken through. This is so important to every single investor to pay close attention to, because that just means we're getting deeper into bearish territory, and then you have to watch how the stock is reacting from 25.05 to 24.50. That's your next support level. So you're going to want to watch how it behaves and how quickly are the bears tearing this down, or are the bulls reappearing and bringing this one up. So very important. We're already in bearish territory. Breaking through support just means we're getting deeper into it. And even if the bulls reappear, it's becoming much more difficult for the bulls to accomplish breaking through resistance and the 50-day moving average to get back in bullish territory. It's not impossible, but it becomes more difficult as this gets deeper into bearish territory and pulls further away from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction. So I want every single investor to pay close attention to it. You got 24.50 as a next point of reference. And then you have down here your last support at 23.63 before this even sees any newer lows and deeper into bearish territory. Now, what is our resistance? Well, the first thing I want to state is this resistance is the highest point before this continued to fall in this slight recovery that the bulls appeared. If this resistance gets broken through, it does not signify that the bulls have gained control. They need to break through 27.04 to get back into bullish territory and start to gain control. So I want every single investor to be aware of this and pay close attention to this. Now, 26.51 is our resistance. This is the beginning of an indicator for us investors to know that the bulls are pulling this back upwards. If they can turn that into a support, they're working closer towards their goal, which is the 50-day moving average. And then from that point forward, they will be able to go ahead, turn that into a support, start the catalyst, and start to work their way up to newer highs. So super important for every single investor to be aware that 26.51 needs to be broken through. Does not mean that the bulls have gained control, and it does not signify that it's a guarantee that they're going to break through the 50-day moving average and end up in bullish territory. This is the beginning catalyst and an indicator for us investors to know where this is heading and where the bulls are starting to gain leverage. So I just want every single investor to be clear on that, to be aware of that, and pay close attention to this, because 26.51 does need to be broken through, but we're still in bearish territory until the 50-day moving average is broken through and we're back in bullish territory. But the first step for the bulls to get to the 50-day moving average and back into bullish territory is breaking through 26.51 and turning that into a support to start to pull up and hit newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money. At the end of this video, there's going to be a pop-up video, and in that video, I will be discussing about the S&P 500 index and how it's been rising several points on scheduled dates. As you see here on the graph, these circles are the dates that the pumps have happened, and I use them as examples to show you guys how much the stocks have risen, and the S&P 500 index rose on those dates. And the reason why it's rising is due to the fact that the Federal Reserve is pumping the markets. On these dates, the charts and the dates speak for themselves, as we can see it here, and I break it down into more detail in the video. But just to summarize it, on these dates, the S&P 500 rises, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with it, anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share. I know it may not seem like a lot, but per share that does add up, and these individual ticker symbols are giving you back profits. These are profits, and like I always say, profits are profits. Whether it's $1 put into the market and you get back $2, you've put in an initial investment and you got back more than what you started with. That's what it's all about. And also in the video, I go into further detail showing you guys these dates and showing you how much it rose. Like, for example, this was one of the last pump dates, and the lowest point that it reached was down here at 35.11, and the highest point reached was 35.57. That's like a 40-point jump. And here we're seeing the same thing. It went down to 35.88, and it rose up to about, I'd say, let's see, this is all still in the same day. It rose up to about a total amount of 36.23. When you do the math, that's almost a 40 to 50 point jump, and there's individual ticker symbols rising up with this. Now, I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm just here to inform every single investor on the great news, on the opportunity to maximize profits and minimize losses. You have to do your due diligence and research, but these charts and the dates speak for themselves. I mean, this was probably one of the largest jumps that I've seen in the last couple of pumps, and it was down here at 33.02, and it rose up to about 33.88. That was an 80-point jump. there was probably ticker symbols rising up more than $3 per share on those dates. And even on these dates, there's individual ticker symbols rising more than $3 per share. Check it out, see for yourselves. And my best advice is look for ticker symbols that may be resembling the behavior of the S&P 500 index, and you'll be able to go ahead and give it a shot. Check it out. Again, I'm not there to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. I'm not there to guarantee you profits. I'm just here to go ahead and share the information along with every single viewer and investor. The video should be popping up soon. If you haven't seen it already, pop up. There is the link down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.